So what we're going to cover here today is, again, trends in outdoor living, what makes them valuable to you and to your home. So we're going to cover some aspects of that. First of all, where do these trends come from? How do we know about them? First of all, from our perspective, a lot of our clients bring them to us. There's demand for these things. And there are a lot of publications, a lot of news briefs, whatever, about outdoor living trends. You'll see all the manufacturers publish articles about what's new and exciting. I've just posted a couple here from Trex and TimberTech and Belgard, one of the hardscaping companies. They're all the time talking about trends in outdoor living and what's going on out there. Obviously, social media sites, if you're into that. H&OL, I don't know if you're familiar with H&OL, H-O-U-Z-Z. Very good site to look at for a lot of different home remodeling ideas, landscaping, outdoor living spaces as well. Good source for information about outdoor living. And then Pinterest as well. Everybody, a lot of Pinterest people, a lot of things you can find out on Pinterest as well. Not to mention the TV shows, HGTV, and all the DIY things that are out there too. A lot of places to learn about, find out what's going on in the outdoor living world. That being said, outdoor living means a lot of different things to different people. Anybody want to offer what does outdoor living mean to you? A place to play, good. We have one of our taglines that says go outside and play. A lady yesterday said just be outside and enjoy the view. So outdoor living means a lot of things. It might mean, just being active, going fishing, going hiking, going biking, skiing in the winter, all, doing outdoor things. But yet you come home and you don't want to just cocoon up inside. You want to get outside and enjoy the space at home too. So that's what drives a lot of these trends and things anymore. And two, I didn't just cheat and Google all this stuff to find the information. We design and build these kind of projects, so I'm also kind of just a synopsis of what you read there kind of holds true with what we're doing and what we see, what people are bringing to us. So I'm bringing my perspective on this as well. And I'll start with probably one of the number one things that we see is just the multifunctional outdoor spaces. You're just doing more outside and having more space to do it in. And in a lot of, I call them kind of multifunctional spaces. Porches, patios, decks, porches, just multiple spaces to do things with and in. And also, the porches are a big aspect now. People like that roof cover just to feel a little more cozy and closed in when you're outside. A little protection from the elements. Keeps the heat of the day sun down. Keeps the rain out if it's not windy. And screen porches as well. But porches and multi-functional spaces are the big thing that we're seeing. And usually the porch is one of the functions of that. So we're just showing the various pictures here of combination projects. I mentioned this yesterday. These folks came to this show last year. They just had that roof over their deck and no other deck space. We added onto it there on the right side, reconfigured their staircase and added the stone columns. So it's just an example of a multifunctional space now that wasn't before. Another deck porch project. Porches can also go over a patio, either freestanding like this one or also or attached to the home. Kind of depends on your space layout. So here's a project with a deck, patio, and a porch. Deck and patio. One on the left, porch over a patio. And again, the deck and patio combination there on the right. So it's these kind of multi-functional spaces, multi-textures. It's not all the same thing. It's not just a big rectangle or a big square. different levels to it sometimes to kind of separate the areas. One of the other trends, and I don't even know that it's a trend anymore, it's pretty well set in, but it's still very popular and becoming more so, is the use of low maintenance materials. If you want to enjoy outdoor living, that's what you want to do. You want to enjoy it. You don't want to have to spend your time maintaining your deck, sanding it, power washing it, staining it, sealing it every two years, and then it's still going to degrade over time. It is a wood. It is exposed to the elements, and you'll have continual degradation. So the wood alternative project is what I call them, and the state of the art today is what's called the capped technology. And what that means is the core of the board is one thing, and then it's capped with a plastic or a PVC surface. So that plastic cap is now controlling the fading and the staining, and gives also the opportunity to do more coloring, some variegated colors in the boards to make them look natural. If you look at a piece of cedar or a piece of lumber, it's not all the same color. It's not. It's got grain patterns in it. They're able to do more of that with the plastic caps that are in the products today. So the cap technology has been around now for 7-8 years, and there are several vendors doing that very well. So you do hear some stories of some older low maintenance products that didn't perform as well. It's just like anything, the evolution of products, they get better. I would say the last 5 to 7 years, these products are really, really holding up well. 25 to 30 year warranties now on the fade and stain. 25 to 30 years on structural guarantees or warranties as well. Lifetime in one case. So these boards are very high technology, and they're designed to let you enjoy your outdoor spaces rather than to work on them. So that is an ongoing and continuing trend. It applies also to railing. Low maintenance railing is also a key aspect. So PVC railing, aluminum railing, iron railing, powder coated, not rusting. Some good looks there. So there's just a lot of clean, crisp looks and a lot of color options in both the decking and the railing. And again, just different ways and configurations on railing. There are a lot of ways to put railing together. So you can be very custom, very personalized to your space and your likes and dislikes, and be different from your neighbors. Another trend that we're seeing and doing more of is implementing curves into deck structures as well. And not only curving the perimeter of the deck, but also curving the deck boards themselves to kind of highlight the curves. So a couple of examples here. You can also curve the railing so that the railing can be curved to those radiuses as well. You can't curve them real tight, but you can get a nice soft curve to them, and it adds a nice feature. You don't have to go crazy and do the whole deck that way, but a lot of people will say, well, nothing on my house is curved, the deck should be square. But yet most people's patios are curved. You're putting kidney shapes and slight curves in patios. I think sometimes it can work, and we would work with you through that process. Another example of a curved deck. The other thing curved deck is, from a trend, from my perspective, is that you want to see that from the air, so I invested in a drone. So you'll see more of our decks from bird's eye view. Another trend and value add, and also a safety feature, is to add lighting to your deck space or patio space, particularly if you've got staircases involved. But there's a lot of different ways to implement some low voltage lighting across deck and patio spaces, landscape spaces. On porches, usually on most of the porches, we're doing ceiling fans and lights in that, and recessed lighting up in the ceilings. We've done a few porches too where you put a little cove molding around the perimeter and kind of hide a string light to kind of shine up on the ceiling and give that some ambiance there. Like I said, it's also a safety feature down staircases to have the stairs lit up at night. And it doesn't take a lot of low voltage lights, depending on the style you use. They put them on the sides of railing, sides of columns or things like that. They put out a fair amount of light in it. You can get a good light with 5 or 6 lights on a lot of decks. Obviously, if you're multi-tiered and you got other layers to deal with, and in some of these they aren't necessarily as bright as you're seeing in the pictures. It kind of a lot of contrast on the nighttime pictures, but the lighting is a good. I had a client who we were putting a project together for, and I didn't really have to sell him the lights because he said he wants to do a lighting system because a lighting system will make a $20,000 deck look like a $30,000 deck. So that's the kind of appeal it has to folks. Another trend, and it keeps growing, is the outdoor cooking, outdoor kitchens. Outdoor cooking's always been a deal. There's been grills. My mom and dad had little grills that they grilled on. So the grilling is nothing new. Campfire, cooking over a fire is nothing new, but having a full-scale kitchen or even just countertop space to do more food preparation and serving and things like that built into a space on a deck or a patio becomes a nice functional piece to your outdoor space. We've done kitchens with everything, including the kitchen sink, and some just to grill, built-in grill. Obviously, you can get some storage underneath it well too, without being open. We've even done some where it's just a countertop space. Basically, you can slide an existing grill into. So if you've already invested in a nice portable gas grill or something, we can make a space, blend it into other spaces there. So that whole food preparation, serving, outdoor kitchen space, sometimes melded even into with a bar or a countertop area, so you sit there while the food's cooking, or just to have a space to sit and look out into the backyard as well. Nice features there. With the kitchens, most of what we're doing on the countertops on the kitchen is granite. Granite holds up real well outside. There are other things you can do, concrete, but you want to just kind of be concerned a little bit with the porosity of the texture, because if you're cooking meat and having wine or whatever, concrete and some other things will stain. Obviously, granite a little more harder, and we just kind of recommend granite for the countertops for grilling areas. But another big feature, particularly with the patios we're doing, is fire pits, fireplaces. I don't think we do too many patios anymore that don't have a fire pit in them. Everybody likes that aspect. Those fire pits could be wood burning. They could also be gas. Wood burning, I will caution you, there are open burning rules and regulations in Polk County and various places that you want to attend to, but there are ways to allow that to work. Fire just always attracts people. It's a good gathering spot. They can be simple, just a fire ring in the middle of a patio. You may go a little more extensive and have little meandering seat walls or formed seat walls around it. Sometimes those you're probably not going to sit on that seat wall for hours on end, but it also gives you a little backdrop to the space. And ties that in nicely. Fireplaces are also a way to get fire into your outdoor spaces. The two I'm going to show you here are in screen porches, which is a kind of a cozy kind of feel there, where we've done fireplaces in a room. You could do the fireplace out on the patio space as well instead of the fire pit. And again, gas or wood burning are options either way. Both of those happen to be wood burning. A lot of the fire pits we're doing are wood burning too. So people just like that crackling sound, the smell, cooking marshmallows, whatever, that you can't get with a gas fire pit. But also cleaner and safer with the gas, so it's just kind of a trade-off there. Like I said, the fire is just very attractive, nice gathering space. Family and friends, it just kind of brings everybody around, and obviously in the cool evenings, it's putting off a little heat there to keep you a little more comfortable outside. You'll notice in a lot of these pictures, you're seeing some stone, and that's not accidental. I mean, obviously if you're doing patios and firewalls and fire pits, you're gonna have some stone there. But even on deck structures and porch structures, we do a lot of stone. And the reason for this I will get into is not just an aesthetic aspect. There is value to that, and we'll talk about that in a minute here when we get into the value side of some of these things. But the stone adds an additional texture and look to the space. It gives it a little more mass. Mass is an important thing when you're doing some big structures, porches particularly. But even on just half, you can do the stone on columns all the way up, halfway up, bar height up. A lot of different ways to configure those. And one of the things I'll point out too, it kind of goes in with the stone and the mass aspect. Another sort of trend that we're seeing is, particularly on porches and decks, people are using the space under their decks a lot more now as well. It's a cozy patio space. It's naturally shaded. If you do some underdecking, you can also make it a dry space under the deck. A roof over the deck up above will also keep it dry down below. So more people are using that space under their deck, and when they're down there sitting there, they don't want to be looking at 3, 4, 5 posts. So we're doing a lot more wide span structures with just posts on the corners, basically, to open that up. It all works engineeringly. I don't know if that's a word. I'm not an engineer, but engineeringly it works. But sometimes it looks odd that you've got this big structure with these posts. So the stone helps kind of fill that mass and make it fit the space, and make it look really good too. So that's stone is a trend and one that has a fair amount of value to it. There is value. The point of this is there is value to outdoor living. These trends are trends for a reason. They're making your home more functional. Allowing you to enjoy your home more, and makes you happier while you're there. That has some value to your life as well.